What do you need to know about cancer? First of all, the war against cancer is very similar to regular warfare. Your body is the battleground. The enemy is the cancer. You choose a general to lead the battle, usually the oncologist, who in turn will try to call upon the other disciplines to participate in the battle. The secret of winning the battle is to know your enemy. Cancer cells are rebellious cells. They're going to start dividing on their own, creating their own nest. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, until the time they become a big battalion. If you know 1 centimeter tumor, how many tumor cells there is in it? It's 1 billion. There's 1 billion tumor cells in 1 centimeter lump. When it becomes this big, it becomes visible, detectable by our means of detection. Anything below that level would not be detectable by our usual means. How can you identify the enemy, the cancer? The most common way to do it is called a biopsy. You cut a piece of the tumor, you send it to the pathologist who will do the appropriate interrogations, do the appropriate testing, and find out exactly what type of cancer it is. The cancer is usually identified by the organ of origin. If it started in the colon, we call it colon cancer. If it starts in the lung, we call it lung cancer. Even if it did spread, and wherever it did spread, it will still be called by the name of origin. Colon cancer which goes to the liver is colon cancer in the liver. It is not liver cancer. Think about it like immigration. In cancer, we call it metastases. If an Oriental person migrates to California, he will still look the same and have the same habit, and he will have different behavior than an Irish moving to California or a Native American moving to California. So therefore, different types of tumors in one organ will behave differently and will be treated differently. When you try to compare your type of cancer to other types of cancer, make sure you compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Sometimes we do not have the luxury of being able to go and take a piece. So what we do what we call a needle biopsy, where a fine needle takes a very small, tiny sample of the tumor. It can identify, although a little bit less accurately than the tissue biopsy, the type of cancer we're dealing with. Now, some things you need to remember about needle biopsy, that only if it identifies the cancer, it will have some meaning. If it does not identify cancer, that is, if the needle biopsy is negative, that does not mean there is no cancer. Now, this is a very hard concept patients have a hard time to grasp to. Think about it this way. If you went fishing and you could not get any fish, you cannot say there was no fish. Or you can say that I did not get the fish. So either you have to go back fishing again or you get a better fisherman. If you have a needle biopsy which is negative, therefore, it does not say necessarily that this is not cancerous. Once we identify the type of cancer we're dealing with, the next question is where is it? Which organ did it affect? We call it, in scientific terms, staging. In regular warfare, you'd like to know where the enemy is, where the troops are before you attack. Usually you use satellite, CIA information, FBI, to find the information. In medicine, we use CAT scans, MRIs, blood tests, physical examination, and we try to define where exactly the disease is. Why is it important? First of all, if you attack the enemy, you would like to know how much is left behind after the battle is over. So therefore, it's important to have a baseline evaluation to know where the disease is. So after treatment, then you can go back, repeat the test, and see what has happened. How much of that tumor did we destroy? And second, it's very important to know whether any vital organs are being affected. It might make a difference how urgent the treatment has to be. It would make a difference for you if the enemy you're fighting is in the Middle East or he's already landed in New Jersey, actually in New York. So it does make a difference to know the stage. And those tests are being used. You hear them all the time that we're going to do some staging, and it's an important feature.